Hey man, what up, man? Thursday, February 6th in the NBA. We've got a 6 game NBA slate today. I've got two of my best bets. One of them's going to be a player prop, and one of them is going to be a total. And one of the games today that I absolutely think is going to fly over. But like I said, 6 games. Yesterday, you already know what we did. So let's get to the recap and then we'll jump right in. Bring them out. Bring them out. 3-0 sweep yesterday. We brought out the brooms. Rudy Gobert continues to be a wagon for us, man. Over 11 and a half rebounds. We didn't play it as big just because I feel like, hey, we've been backing him a lot this year and he's been cashing for us. He's been a wagon. And it's really rare that you see a lot of people saying that Rudy Gobert is a wagon for them. And I'm kind of there with him. He usually lands on the hook for me so much, but this year has been crushing for me. Spurs Hawks flies over. Like I said, Wemby, those guys have a great game. De'Aaron Fox, great game. First game with the Spurs. And then in VIP, we also took Rudy Gobert for 0.75 unit play again for a double-double. So up 2.3 units for the day, back up slightly for the week, but I'm not having another losing. We're not having a losing day today. We're having another back-to-back winning day. Let's get to this slate. First game on the board today, we got the Dallas Mavericks versus the Boston Celtics. Now in this game, the spread's about -9, -10. I don't know what it'll be at the time of this video when it comes out to you guys, but right now I see Anthony Davis is also questionable. If he goes in this game, I don't know how you aren't kind of vibing with the Mavs. Now, the one thing I would say, Kyrie going into Boston, ever since he's joined the Mavs, has not really played well with the Mavs in Boston. Look at the finals. Look at last year, last 2 or 3 years. Just hasn't been playing well in Boston. Now, his point line today is about 24, 25 and a half. It's hard for me to want to lean the under, but also I kind of want to say I lean the under just off past game logs going up into Boston. Hasn't played well. But if AD plays in this spot, I got to lean the Mavs, man. Celtics just aren't the greatest against the spread, off wins. I've been telling you guys this all year so far, or at least since I've started the YouTube journey. But Celtics 7-16 against the spread in their last 23 games at home. 7-16, and they're almost double-digit point favorites today. Now they are 27-11 in their last 38 games at home. So just looking off some recent trends, or this year they win at home a decent amount, but not really a spot that I'm absolutely loving here for the Celtics. I feel like Drew Holiday is also questionable in this game. Drew Holiday is a big reason why I would like a Kyrie under. So if Drew Holiday sits, I'm not loving a Kyrie under. They still got some decent defenders, but I'm not loving a Kyrie under. I just feel like I'm more leaning the Mavs in this game if AD plays, and especially if Drew Holiday sits. Give me the Mavs, but I don't know if that line would be +9.5 if that's the case. If AD gets ruled in, Drew Holiday's ruled out, and say that line goes to like +7.5 for the Mavs, I'm almost still leaning the Mavs. Almost probably still leaning the Mavs, even though Celtics have kind of owned the Mavs, but still. Now, first game with AD joining a new team, do they kind of struggle to form some continuity in that lineup? I don't know. I still think they'll be fine. So I would still lean the Mavs, but definitely not a game that I am dialed in on. Definitely not a game that I'm in love with today. There's some other games that I like a little bit better. Well, let's move on to the second game, which I like this game a lot more. So guess what? We do have a best bet in this Rockets-Minnesota game. Today, Rockets-Minnesota. Minnesota's on a back-to-back. Minnesota is on a back-to-back. They just played last night. Now, none of the starters really played huge minutes. They did beat the Bulls by about 19. You had Rudy Gobert play about 30, 31 minutes. You did have Jaden McDaniels play 37 minutes. Big game from him. Naz Reid and Anthony Edwards both played 35 and 36 minutes. So that's my bad. I thought Rudy Gobert is really the one starter that didn't play huge minutes, him and Mike Conley. So in this spot, you already know Rudy Gobert has been a wagon for me. In this spot, I do feel like I want to lean the Rockets, but I'm just done losing money on the Rockets, man. I've backed the Rockets like 3 or 4 times on the spread this year, and they've only cashed for me once, and that was against, I think, the Cavs when they faced the Cavs. Other than that, they've just kind of burned me a lot this year. So, not really loving the spot for the Rockets, but a lot of trends are pointing, hey, off a loss. They usually bounce back off a loss. Minnesota Timberwolves on a back-to-back. All the 3 main starters there, the 3 main scorers there, kind of played big minutes. Maybe the Rockets here have a decent game against them. It's basically a pick 'em. Rockets got Alperen Sengun. They're going to be relatively healthy. It does still look like Fred VanVleet's out. And I think if you're liking the Rockets, I would really want Tari Eason to play today. I would really want him to play. But in this game, small lean to the Rockets. But for me personally, I'm not taking them. I'm done losing money on them. But let's get to the second best bet in this game. And you already know where we're going, man. Or you should at least know where we're going. I am backing him again, man. I'm backing him again. And we're playing it light. 0.75 units. But Rudy Gobert over 21.5 points plus rebounds today. 0.75 units. I don't know if the books are just disrespecting him, or if they're just like, hey, this is a tough matchup versus the Rockets. He hasn't hit this line the last 2 games versus the Rockets. One of those landed on the hook, but he has went under 2 straight versus the Rockets. But both those games, Julius Randle played. Guess who's out still? Julius Randle. So Rudy Gobert, man, they got his rebound line at 10.5. If you want to just take that, rock with it. I kind of am backing his points here a little bit too, because in games versus the Rockets, last 2 hasn't scored more than 10 points. But if you're looking when Cat was there and when he played with them last year, he always had like over 14 points against this Rockets team. So I think he can have a game getting 12 points here, and his point line's at 10.5 and 11.5. And then I think he has a decent rebounding game. But you all know Rudy Gobert. He could go out there and get 6 points, but grab 18 rebounds. He could go out there and give you 16 points, but grab 8 rebounds. So I'm kind of playing a little bit of a mixture here. Recently, we've been just backing his rebounds, but I am putting in the points there with him, kind of trusting him here. I need him to have a decent points game here. But really, you already know all the stats without Cat. Last year, crushed this without Julius Randle. I told you his rebounds are going to skyrocket. 2 or 3 games here without Randle has been just flying over. So, like Rudy Gobert there, we're running it back one more time, but I'm playing it light just in case if he lands on the hook or goes way under here. But Rudy Gobert over 21.5 points plus rebounds, we're locking it in. Moving right along to the third game here, we got the Orlando Magic versus the Denver Nuggets. Hey, if you tail any of my leans ever, yesterday's video, what did I say? The over in that Magic Kings game, and the Magic were getting it done. I don't like this Kings team. I don't like him. We're going to talk about the Kings in a little bit, but adding Zach LaVine there, it's the same thing that the Raptors just did with Brandon Ingram. I'm not trying to get off topic, but Brandon Ingram just joined the Raptors. In my opinion, I think that is too many ball handlers. RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, all very similar players. None of them great three-point shooters. Unless if one of them just starts shooting a career high in three-point percentage, I don't see how that trade. It's not 2K, man. So Kings, I thought the Magic would beat the Kings yesterday. That's what happened. Magic offense finally gets it going. I don't like that Kings team right now. I need to see what they kind of rock out with, but right now I'm more fading Kings, if that gives you a hint to that Trailblazers-Kings game in a little bit. But Magic, Nuggets, I thought the Magic would get it done yesterday. Now in this spot versus the Magic, or versus the Nuggets have been facing some teams here. Now at home, it seems like they can kind of pull away from and cover these spreads. At home. On the road, they let these teams kind of hang in. Because if you look at the Nuggets, it's their offense that is carrying them a lot of these games. It's not their defense. Their defense is like bottom 15 this year. Almost bottom 10. If I'm not mistaken, they might even be bottom 10. So in this spot here, at home, I still lean the Nuggets. Now, if this was at the Magic and say the spread was minus 7.5 for the Nuggets on the road, I would say I lean the Magic. Just because I feel like Magic could kind of hang in here, but that's only because the Nuggets allow teams to hang in here. But Magic, their offense exploded yesterday. Do they do it again back-to-back nights on a back-to-back? Last couple years, over under, they're 4-1 or 3-5. Excuse me, on no rest to the under. So they hit the under more than they do the over there on back-to-backs. Let's look ATS on back-to-backs this year. This year on back-to-backs 4-4, but can you really take that to heart, man, with Franz Wagner and Paolo being out? So let's go last year on back-to-backs with this Orlando Magic team. 8-7, I mean, okay. 8-7, who? But in my opinion here, I lean the Nuggets at home. Player props, Jokic always seems to have decent games versus this Magic team, but this Magic defense is really, really good. They are still pretty good. I still trust their defense, even if they are really lackadaisical and really suck for like 5-6 games. I always am like, you know what, they're going to turn it around. And then you'll have a game where they go out there and they only allow the opponents to score like 102 points. And you're like, damn, I don't see that happening with the Nuggets here. I think the Nuggets still put up 110, 120 plus points. But my favorite lean in this game, and the line is moving, so I got to tell you it quick and hope it's still there when you guys can lock it in possibly. But Christian Braun under 14.5 points is my favorite lean in this game against top 10 defenses and against teams that play at a bottom 10 pace, so a slow pace, against a team that plays slow, and against a top 10 defense. Christian Braun has went under this points line of 14.5 in 7 of his 10 games this year when that matchup has occurred. Now, you're looking at some of these games, he's scoring 20-plus points. Now, some of these games, barely going over, but some of them he is scoring 20-plus. But look at who he's going against, man. The Hornets, the Pelicans, the Bulls, the Kings. Kings not a bad team, but Kings also not a great transition defense. Against the Sixers defense pretty bad this year. And then he did go over scoring 20 points against the Magic earlier this year in Orlando. So if that scares you a little bit, hey, okay. But in that game, he got to the free throw line 7 times. Some games he gets to the free throw line four to 6 times, and sometimes he gets up there 1 or 2. So in my opinion here, if Aaron Gordon goes, big if there, so I hope you're still watching it. If Aaron Gordon goes, I definitely lean the over on Christian Brown there. Definitely lean the under if Aaron Gordon is in and his point line is still at 14.5. If it goes to 13.5 and Aaron Gordon is in, I don't even want to mess with it. I try to get the best line there at 14.5, 15.5. I like the under there for Christian Brown. If it drops anymore, I'm not really loving it. Unless if Aaron Gordon gets ruled out, and then Christian Brown gets bumped up to 15, 16.5. You know what I'm saying? So watch for some injury news there, but that's how I'm feeling. That's probably my strongest lean there, but still staying away for the official play. Next game, Golden State Warriors versus the Los Angeles Lakers. I have a heavy lean in this game. It is a heavy lean to the Warriors. Now, I know they just traded. They're not going to have Jimmy here. They just traded away some role players. They are kind of weak right now. They're not as deep as they usually are. But you know what? I don't care. I thought they had too many players at one point where they were running a 12, 13, 14, 15, 25 player rotation to where it's like, what are you doing? You got to narrow it down a little bit once it comes playoff time. Why are you doing it at the beginning of the year? So I think now having about an 8 to 10 man rotation, I almost kind of like it for them. But a big reason why I lean the Warriors here. Now, the Warriors, you have heard me talk about them a lot. I can't trust them. Yesterday they played the Jazz, and didn't I tell you I lean the Jazz there? The Jazz have lost like 7 straight to the Warriors, but I said, hey, I lean the Jazz, and they go out there and the Jazz beat the Warriors last night. Big high-scoring game. Now, I lean the Warriors here because Draymond, if Draymond plays, Draymond has kind of been the X factor for the Warriors against this Lakers team. If Draymond goes, I lean his over RA, but I also just lean the Warriors at plus 7.5. I think last game here, supposedly Luka's come into play on Saturday. You know what? Let me go even pull it up for you right now. But I saw Luka, his projected start here is going to probably be Saturday, or at least they're saying he could return, could debut Saturday. If this is their last game without Luka, and they're like, almost, it's a look ahead. I think they're looking ahead. Now, against the Warriors, LeBron loves to go up against Steph. These games are always close, always competitive. But Lakers have beat them twice this year. I think the Warriors could. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, and I think the Lakers are kind of looking ahead. So I do lean the Warriors here. It seems like when they face up, both these teams kind of show up, but I just like this spot for the Warriors a little bit more. Now, they are on a back-to-back. If that scares you a little bit, hey, I mean, stay away from it. We all know. If you've heard me in my past 20 videos talk about the Warriors, I always say I can't trust them. They're so inconsistent. They're one of the most inconsistent teams right now. First 15, 20 games of the year, they were on fire. Now, over the last 20, 25, they've been just a roller coaster, man, against whoever they face. It doesn't matter. They're a roller coaster. Beating the Thunder and then coming out and losing to the Jazz. Like, I mean, just come on, a roller coaster. But I do lean the Warriors. Favorite lean would probably be Draymond over RA if he goes, but I like the Warriors spread a little bit more. Total at 222. I want to say I lean the under. But my favorite, you already know, the 2 favorite other spreads, the player prop with Draymond Green and the Warriors spread is where I'm at with that. 2 more games to go over, with the next game being the Sacramento Kings at the Portland Trailblazers. And oh my Lord, did we ever think the Portland Trailblazers were going to be 9-1 over a 10-game stretch? Chauncey Billups got those boys playing right now. Now, to see the Trailblazers favored against the Kings is a little surprising. Is this kind of like the spread when it was the Knicks versus the Raptors a couple nights back, where you're like, hey, Knicks are garbage on back-to-backs, but still that spread was almost disrespectful to the Raptors, and the Knicks still cover barely? I almost could see this being a game where they're almost kind of disrespecting the Kings a little bit, but I'm on the same wavelength here, thinking I don't like this trade for the Kings, adding Zach LaVine. Yes, boys, he's not a good catch-and-shoot shooter. The Kings need catch-and-shoot guys. They have too many guys that are more pull-up jump shooters, catch off the dribble jump shooters. Malik Monk's a lot like that. DeMar DeRozan a lot like that. And same thing with Zach LaVine. I didn't like Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan with the Bulls. Now it's the same thing here in Sacramento. Domantas Sabonis, Nikola Vucevic, very similar players. Now, obviously, I like Sabonis a little bit more, but let's not disrespect Nikola Vucevic. Very similar players. I just don't like this trade for the Kings, man. I think they're the Bulls 2.0, maybe a little bit better because they might have a little bit better coaching. I do like Doug Christie as a coach so far, but I don't like a lot of plays in this game, man. The Trailblazers defense has been one of the league's best over the last 5-10 games, and this total's at 230.5. when the Kings first, I keep on telling you guys, when they made the head coach change and got Doug Christie, the first 10 games they had with Doug Christie, they were playing at like a league's top five pace in the NBA. They were playing quick. Now, without De'Aaron Fox, the games that they've played without De'Aaron Fox over their last 10 when he was missing some games, they play at like a middle of the league NBA average or below league average pace. So they're playing a little bit slower. I'm telling you, with Zach LaVine or with DeMar DeRozan, DeMar just makes them kind of play a little bit slower. Now, they're still going to run a little bit, but I don't love the total here. I think for the Trailblazers to hit that, they're going to have to shoot a great percentage. So I lean the under in this game. I kind of lean the Trailblazers just because I'm like more like I just don't like that trade for the Kings, but there's not a lot of stats to back that up. That's just more being a negative Nancy towards the Kings, being like, hey, I don't like the trade. So don't go and take the Trailblazers today saying, hey, D's love the Trailblazers, because no, I'm not saying I love the Trailblazers. It's more I just don't like that Kings team right now. And I don't think they're going to be a playoff team this year with this trade. I don't think it helps them. And maybe I could be wrong. I could be proven wrong, but I don't love the trade. Now, I'm going to point out some guys to you for some player props. So some big leans in this game. I still lean DeMar DeRozan over RA. If you want to add his points in there, rock with it. But right now, I'm not taking anything with this Kings team with just because they made that DeMar DeRozan trade, and I'm kind of waiting to, or the Zach LaVine trade, I'm kind of waiting to see how it plays out, who gets the usage, who's going to be handling the ball in the fourth quarter, just everything. So, but a heavy lean there to DeMar DeRozan over RA. If you want to add his points in there, rock with it. Trailblazers are one of the league's worst at defending the mid-range. We all know DeMar likes to get to the mid-range, and DeMar could get to the free throw line 6 to 8 times tonight, easy. So I lean DeMar over RA, lean is over PRA. Jeremy Grant for the Trailblazers. He's just the first Trailblazers guy I see right here, so sorry to go to the next team. But Jeremy Grant for the Trailblazers, 14.5 points, not a bad look. I mean, not bad. I only say that because at home he's been averaging more points at home this year, and plus it's a good spot versus the Kings. Kings are one of the worst defenses versus spot-up shooters. So Jeremy Grant, good spot-up shooter there, gets a lot of spot-up threes. So if you think he hits his shots tonight, I don't mind it, but you're going to need him to shoot a decent percentage probably. But really, man, that's Sabonis has been hitting this points line a lot this year on the road. Now with the trade to Zach LaVine, I don't know. But assists, I want to say I lean as over assists, man. It's at 5.5, 6.5, maybe at plus odds. It might even be at 6.5 by the time this game starts. Who knows? But I want to say I lean as over. Last couple games been going under, but he's still he's still passing the ball the most. If you go look at passes made on the Kings, he's still double the amount of the second guy on the Kings. So he's passing the ball a lot for that team. He's hit that a lot versus the Trailblazers. Now, I said that Trailblazers defense hasn't been bad over the last 10 games. So it's a lean to Sabonis over assists, but I'm not loving it, man. I'm not loving it. Like I said, Zach LaVine, the Kings are about to have a lot of guys that are more pull-up, off-the-dribble shooters. So they might catch it, pump fake, take 2 or 3 dribbles, shoot it. Some of those guys will catch it, dribble 3 or 4 times, off, do a step back, and then it doesn't count as an assist. So I feel like that's going to be annoying for Sabonis here, but still, I still like it just because he's going up against the Trailblazers. He's hit it a lot. But those are my leans for that game. Definitely not liking that game. Definitely not liking that Kings side. And can you really trust the Trailblazers yet? 9-1 over the last 10. They're definitely playing pretty well. Defense playing well. It's just still the Trailblazers to me. So I'm kind of like steering away from the Trailblazers, but also steering away from the Kings with that Zach LaVine trade. But hey, let's move on. Last game on the board. I told you I had 2 best bets. This is the last best bet on the board, and oh my lord, this line is moving quick, so hopefully you guys can get it locked in. But VIP always gets the plays early, so it's a benefit of being in VIP is you get the plays at about 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Eastern, or the night prior. So sometimes lines move a little bit, but I'm still going to give it out because I still like it, and I would still play it even at these bumps. But Clippers versus the Clippers. Pacers versus the Clippers here. Pacers on the road. I've been pointing it out to you guys. They really don't hit these totals, and they really don't play that well on the road. They're definitely a way better team at home. Way better team at home. Clippers defense kind of been bad. They were bad last game versus the Lakers, but at home, usually this year, been top 2, top 3 defense. If you're looking just over the last couple years, head-to-head records, these games fly over, man. Fly over. Like totals in the 250, 270, 260s. Like they just fly over. Pacers had a couple down games here. Now, if you go look this year at Pacers games, when they go under, it's typically because they shoot 20, 25, 30% from 3. Like they just don't shoot well from 3 at all. Clippers, not the greatest defense over the last 10 games at defending the 3. Also, when you're looking Pacers, when they go on the road or they just play a back-to-back, They're usually not great on back-to-backs, but then they have a day off and then they play again. Usually on that game after their back-to-back, their offense or the games fly over. So in this spot here, second best bet is the over in this game, over 227.5. Now, I would play this up to about 230, 230 and a half. So right now, at the time of this video, it's about 228, 229. Now, at about 7, 8 a.m. this morning, it was at 227. The line's moving a little bit, but I love the spot here. I would play it up to about 230, 230 and a half. So don't trip. But Pacers, their offense has been really, really bad. Like I said, in this spot, I love it. Usually when the Pacers go under, it's because they shoot really bad from three. There's been a couple games recently where they've shot under 22% from three. So Clippers, defense, you see it on the screen. Read the reasoning. Clippers defense, last 5 games are allowing opponents to shoot 41% from three. That's the third worst over the last 5 games. Small sample, but over the last 10 games are allowing opponents to shoot 36.6, which is still 11th worst, still below league average. I think the Pacers bounce back here, and when they face top 10 defenses, they surprisingly go over. And it's usually because when they face a top 10 defense, the sportsbooks bump down the totals. Instead of being a 235 total, it's like in that mid 220s, and then they go over. 12 of the last 16 versus top 10 defenses, they've went over. I love the over here. We've been smacking on some totals. We smacked on the total yesterday in the Spurs Hawks. That's my favorite total on the board. Like I said, I'd played up to 230 and a half, 230, but VIPs and us got it at 227.5. I love the spot there. But hey, last game on the board, that is my favorite play. I'm not rocking with any player props in that game. I do expect James Harden to have a good game. If you saw the thumbnail, James Harden, I got to bring him up. High usage players versus the Pacers always smack their points or assists. James Harden at home has been having some very, very good assist games, having double-digit assist games, getting double-doubles like a machine. Last game, only had 9 assists. I'm not going to lie. I like James Harden today, double-double at plus 100. They have his double-double at plus 100, but they have his assists at 9.5 at plus 115. So if you think he maybe hits his double-double off of rebounds, hey, take his double-double. But I think I would more trust his assists there to get 10. I love the spot for James Harden over assists today. I love the spot for James Harden even points today. Big bounce back for Harden. Love the over in that game period, though. That's why I didn't take Harden specifically. I just took the full game because I think both teams ball out here. So over 227, 5th game on the board, or 6th game on the board. That is the last game. Drop a like if you made it to the end of this video. Drop a like, or let me know in the comments if you're tailing any of these plays. Hey, only 2 plays in today's slate. Don't know if I'll really have any more, man. I feel like not my favorite slate today, but also some heavy leans. Listen to the heavy leans. I do like some of those heavy leans. You just got to wait for some injury news, man. Now, there's some games like Anthony Davis with the Mavs. You just got to wait for some injury news. But, hey, if you've been enjoying the videos, always let me know down in the comments, guys. Let me know if you're tailing a play. Give me something in the comments. Get active down there. I appreciate any type of camaraderie down there. And I also like getting back to you guys and just talking it up with you guys in the comments, man. It's always enjoyable to see what you guys are on. Always enjoyable to see what you guys are tailing. Always enjoyable to see if you've been tailing anybody specifically recently that's just been cash cows for you. So love talking to you guys down in the comments. But hey, drop a like. Make sure to hit that big red button. Drop a sub. I would greatly appreciate it, guys. We've been running up the YouTube, and I appreciate all the activity that you guys have been showing me, all the love you've been showing me, all the support you've been showing me. I will be back here tomorrow with another NBA slate. We're getting close to All-Star break, so be careful. But hey, let's keep running it up and let's go.